the first time Packwood has denied any of the allegations against him since the Washington Post first reported 2 weeks ago that 10 women accused the senator of sexual harassment.
Former Congressman Les Aucoin will join the staff of Pacific University this spring. Aucoin, who narrowly lost to Bob Packwood in the November race for the U.S. Senate, is a 1969 alumni of Pacific. He will be a part-time visiting professor, lecturing in courses on the presidency, congressional politics, and other political science subjects. Aucoin served in Congress for 17 years.
Well, a snowball fight apparently set the stage for a murder last night in Salem. That's just ahead this Tuesday night.
And why are all the kids you're about to see shaving their heads? Well, it's the latest fad at a junior high in Illinois, a fad that started with one classmate's struggle to live. Tonight, charged with the fatal shooting of another man. As Jim Marr reports, friends of the dead man are still trying to come to grips with the tragedy.
Man, he was 25 and he had 2 little girls, man, and there was no reason for the boy to die like that. Because I've known him for a long time, and, you know, there was no reason for that to even happen.
Friends of 25-year-old Frank Balcom gathered across the street from the southeast Salem home where his accused murderer lives. Jason Bergstad was enjoying a late-night snowball fight with Balcom when the murder suspect, Terry Bandy, confronted them about the noise they were making. About 11:30 last night, witnesses say Bandy waved a handgun out one of the windows of his home. A struggle ensued, and a few minutes later, the victim lay dying on the street.
There was no confrontation. The guy started screaming out his window, and Frank said, you know, what's up with that? You know, that ain't cool. And the guy starts waving a gun out the window. And so the guy says, don't make me come down there. So he came down, started pushing Frank around. Frank pushed him back and he shot him.
No other shots were apparently fired. Balcom was pronounced dead at the scene. An autopsy shows he died of a single small caliber gunshot wound to the chest. Salem police say detectives still don't know what may have led Bandy to fire his gun at close range into Balcom's chest.
He came down to the police station, contacted us at a later time, and we interviewed him and arrested him.
Court documents show Bandy has a police record. Until last night, his most recent contact with authorities came in late 1990 when police investigated him as a suspect in a menacing case. Bandy will be arraigned on murder charges tomorrow morning. In Salem, Jim Marr, the 10 o'clock news.
A coroner's jury convenes tomorrow to decide whether Vancouver police were justified in killing a car theft suspect. 38-year-old Robert Allen was shot on the head last October. Police say the officers fired when Allen tried to run them down in a stolen car. But witnesses say it appeared the suspect was trying to drive away. The victim was unarmed at the time of the shooting. The jurors must decide whether or not police committed a crime by killing Allen. The deliberations are expected to last the rest of the week. The state of Washington is preparing for its first death row execution in 29 years, the first hanging in the nation since 1965. Wesley Allen Dodd is scheduled to die January 5th for killing 3 boys in Vancouver in 1989. This week, Dodd will undergo a physical exam to fit him for the hangman's noose and to find veins to be used in case he changes his mind and decides to die by lethal injection. 24 pages of instruction specify how the rope for his noose is to be prepared. Months ago, Dodd asked that all appeals in his case be dropped, that he be executed without delay.
In other news tonight, a chemical weapons incinerator planned for the Umatilla Army Depot is safe. That according to an independent consulting firm. The MITRE Corporation issued its findings based on an evaluation of operations at a prototype incinerator on a Pacific island. The U.S. Army plans to build a $1 billion incinerator at the Army Depot near Hermiston. The depot stores more than 5,000 tons of chemical weapons, including mustard gas that dates back to World War I. Opponents say the incinerator could vent toxic fumes into Hermiston. The MITRE Corporation reports during 500 hours of testing at the prototype incinerator, trace amounts of nerve gas escaped 32 times.
George Steffen joins us. He's in for David Apple tonight. Hi, George.
Hello.
Could this possibly be true?
British researcher Dr. Alice Stewart contends the health records of 35,000 workers at the now closed Hanford Nuclear Reservation show their risk of contracting radiation-related cancer is 4 to 5 times higher than once believed. The essence of Stewart's research is that low radiation levels damage human cells, which continue to mutate as the person ages. Stewart's study predicts that of the 35,000 workers, 200 more than usual will contract cancer related to radiation. That conflicts with government-funded research, which predicts 10 or 15 extra deaths. Dr. Stewart resides in England. Her study on Hanford workers has been accepted for publication by the American Journal of Industrial Medicine. She expects criticism from the medical establishment.
A difficult thing to absorb will take 20 years to get any real big change. And I think that in 20 years' time, there will be much more thought will be being given to some of the ideas I'm talking about now.
The U.S. Energy Department, long at odds with Stewart over access to the plant's medical records, said it would comment only after it read her study. The nuclear industry uses as its safety standard a different study by the National Academy of Sciences. That study shows the risk level a mere fraction of what Stewart believes. Scientists on that study told CNN that Stewart's results differ because her mathematical models are not like that used by other scientists. One scientist remarking, the problem is that radiation doses of workers is so small, we're talking about degrees of infinitesimal. Overall, the risk is small. Now well into her 80s, Dr. Stewart seems unfazed by the controversy.
Now, I know from my medical experience that lay people do exaggerate the dangers of radiation, but they can sometimes be right when the expert is wrong.
She worries not about her professional fate, but about the medical fate of the people she studies. Greg Lefebvre, CNN, reporting.
Opposition groups to the Trojan nuclear power plant are happy to see the plant shut down for at least the rest of this month. However, if PGE gets its way, opponents and ratepayers may not be happy when they see some future electric bills. Trojan has been shut down since November 9th due to a leak in a steam generator tube. PGE is paying an estimated $200,000 to $250,000 a day for replacement power. And before it's all over, the utility company expects to pay a minimum of $2 million in replacement power costs. Now, PGE has asked the Oregon Public Utility Commission to authorize deferring the power costs. They'll likely ask for an adjustment to cover the cost in a future rate request. That means PGE customers would pay. PGE says approval would not immediately raise rates.
A Lake Oswego woman in need of a heart and lung transplant is reaching out to others while she waits for organ donors. Ruth Ann Hobbs suffers from a rare physical condition which threatens her life. The wait for a suitable organ donor is being made easier by the strong support of her friends. Tonight, many of them decorated Hobbs' home for the holidays. Hobbs says she can't imagine facing her medical problems without the help of her group of friends.
I realized that there were several other people going through what I had gone through, and so we started what is called LifeNet, to help others avoid some of the heartache and the financial hardships.
The LifeNet Foundation Hobbs and her supporters have formed as a charitable trust. It seeks to raise $250,000, the amount necessary for Hobbs' operation. The charitable trust will support other transplant patients and their families before, during, and after their operations. If you would like to donate, you can call LifeNet. The number is 639-4748.
A Portland family